Welcome back to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. Thank you for tuning back in. Today's guest is Zach Vaughan. He's a fellow comedian here in the Quad Cities that I've gotten to know over the last couple of months here. We had a great conversation about a variety of topics: instant gratification, pattern recognition, impulsive behavior, depression, navigating depression, structure, the importance of structure. Zach talked about his military life and his perspectives on that, and we talked about the fear of failure, breakups, all types of good stuff and bad stuff and interesting stuff. You'll really like this conversation. I enjoyed it a lot. So if you like this, share it with your friends. Welcome everybody to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. Today's guest is Zach Vaughan, a fellow comedian here in the Quad Cities, and we met, it's been a few months ago, because you just started doing comedy too, right?
I just moved to the Quad Cities. I've been doing stand-up for like a year and a half now.
Okay.
So I've been in the Quad Cities area for like 4 months now.
4 months now. And where are you from originally?
I am originally from, I'll say Burlington. I moved around a lot as a kid, but I kind of grew up in Burlington. And then I moved here from Bloomington, Illinois.
Did you go to high school in Burlington?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys had an aggressive section of parents at every athletic event.
Yeah, we had an aggressive section of students that habitated that school. I think we made it on like Good Morning America for like fights and stuff. It's crazy.
Because you guys were in I don't know how Burlington was in the MAC conference, but it was for a while in the same conference for sports. So that's funny.
Yeah.
Because I went to Assumption, so we played together. I played baseball, so. But you're a few years younger than me. You're 28, 27?
28.
28, okay. And so you moved here, not from Burlington, though.
From Bloomington.
From Bloomington, okay.
Another one of those Ington towns, you know?
Yeah. So what's Bloomington like? Mostly college town, right?
Yeah, Bloomington normal. It's divided between like college students and
Pubali, yeah, she lives there during the week,
and people that work at like State Farm, you know, because State Farm headquarters is there.
Okay. Oh yeah, and shout out to Pubali. She's probably gonna be my next guest, so that'll be awesome too.
Shout out Pubali.
Yeah, shout out Pubali. But yeah, just wanted to start out by giving just a little background about you, and a little bit of just kind of the Cliff's Notes, so we can get started and talk about a few things. We got a few things we wanted to talk about, so I'll let you kind of give your brief background story for us, and then we'll just get into it.
Yeah, I'm 28 years old. Moved around a lot when I was a kid. Eventually settled down in Iowa.
Military kid, or just moved around a lot?
Moved around a lot. Eventually settled down in Iowa. Went to Burlington, graduated, joined the military right out of high school. Been the guard for like 12 years now. I'm almost out. So
okay.
The end is in sight.
I got a cousin who's in the guard. He's been there for a while.
Yep. And then I just kind of moved around the state of Illinois in like my early 20s. I've always been incredibly impulsive, which, probably lends itself to some of the topics that we can discuss today.
Oh, I can relate.
And some of the patterns of it and some of the self-destructive patterns of that.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually, I deployed back in 2018, got home, and eventually ended up in Bloomington. That was kind of my first time on my own for like the last 2 years. I wasn't living with a girlfriend or anything like that, which is kind of how I made my way through my earlier portion of my 20s. And then
just living with chicks.
Yeah, and then I kind of I guess experienced for like the first time in my life like real, adversity, more or less, because I think when we're in our 20s, we're trying to paint out this narrative to ourselves that any bad day we have must be the result of our lives being worse than our peers. You know,
Oh yeah, the comparisons.
Everything's an injustice to us. People aren't going through what we're going through or experiencing what we're experiencing. We're sort of selfish. And then I think life really has a way of humbling you in the latter portion of your 20s, and maybe way earlier for some people. But that's how it was for me, where you're like, oh, actually, you know, things can be worse, and there are people with bigger problems, and there is a bigger, bigger world out there with bigger issues than, you know, my things. And then
our worlds are so small.
And then you just kind of have to learn how to navigate it yourself. I think that's so important, you know. And then eventually it becomes, I guess, a point of pride if you see your way out the other side, but it sucks while you're going through it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, you say you were deployed. Where did overseas, or you said?
Yeah. I spent about half of that deployment in Camp Buring, Kuwait, and then I spent the other half of that deployment in Camp Taji, Iraq, which is right outside of Baghdad. I work on helicopters in the Guard, and it was a pretty cake deployment. And honestly,
oh really? It wasn't bad?
No. And I don't like the military stuff because I have a sort of natural aversion to authority that's just ingrained into me. But I've always loved structure in my life.
That's what I was going to say, structure, yeah.
You know, the more structure that exists in my life, the busier I can pack my schedule, the less destructive I end up being to myself.
I've been learning that a lot.
So the military takes the guesswork out of it when you're in those active duty sort of environments, because there's nothing but structure. It's really hard to be destructive in that way. You know, this is like your schedule. There's nothing to distract you.
I know people who found a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Depending on what division of the military, of course, what their rank was or what they were doing.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right, actually, now that I kind of dive into that. But for me at the very least,
it provided you more structure than being on your own, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. It was training wheels and a bicycle, which I think is something that can very much be a positive, but I also think it's a detriment to people that spend their entire lives in active duty in particular, where the military's always kind of babysat them. They've never really been an individual because you're always explained how you're just part of a team. For the early portion of their adult lives in the military, they aren't paying rent or utilities or anything. They don't even have to buy their own food, you know? So they have no real respect for property or value or understanding of that. And it just kind of baby-proofs their entire life. And then you see these people that get out after one contract, and then
they don't know how to handle money.
They're just fully lost adults. They're just like, especially if they went in the military with a skill that doesn't translate into the real world, you know?
Yeah, you're lucky yours does.
Yeah, it worked out for me. Some days it doesn't feel as lucky, but
I get it.
It worked out for me better than it did a lot of people. But I'm real empathetic for people that, you know, were kind of tossed into that environment and then kind of didn't have to make decisions for themselves for so long, and then just, you know, fall off the rails on the other side of it.
I know some people, depending on does it depend on what division of the military you're in when it comes to like getting out and like going to school and then paying for your school? Is that just like I know some people have done that. I just don't know what you have to do in order for that to happen.
I think all branches of the military have some program that's going to pay your tuition while you're in, and I think all of them probably have some GI Bill program that gives you a stipend after you're out. And a lot of those branches like have a stipend that can even extend to like your family or things like that. So there are education benefits. I utilized mine by dropping out of college no less than 5 times. So, you know.
Oh, really? How many different colleges?
Uh,
All 5?
no, just two.
Just
Just
two?
two. Just two. I finally finished my associate's degree. I'm like the Van Wilder of associate's degrees.
Nice.
And it's not because I am particularly bad at school. It's just another one of those things that for whatever reason I developed an aversion to. I think school is a real negative time in my life. I think I got anxious in like the academic setting, even if I tested really well. And so it's
Man, I hate tests. Some people are like, you don't like tests because you're stupid. I know that's Daniel Tosh bit. He's like, the reason you don't like tests is because you're dumb. Or I don't know the exact bit, but it's like, or I'm a bad test taker. No, you're just saying you're stupid. No, I was legitimately a bad test taker at certain times because I would get so anxious and second guess everything, especially if it was multiple choice, and talk myself out of the wrong answer so many times.
See, I was the opposite in the aspect that I had like an incredible retention for knowledge. I had no desire to do any real work. So
as far as doing the homework,
hated it, dude.
Papers,
hated it, and I mean I hated it pretty much from the very beginning.
Yeah,
starting in school, but especially by the time that I was in high school, it wasn't getting done. It wasn't at all. But tests, were something that it wasn't going to impact any of my life outside of school.
Got it.
It existed within that class.
You were just a sponge. You were able to absorb the information as long as you paid attention enough.
And my teachers hated me.
Or that, probably. Yeah. I know some people like that for sure. I was not that guy. I was. I would get the homework done, but then when it came to tests, it was just it did not go well for me because I did not retain information because there was just so much going on in my head. But I could write a paper, just a great, fantastic paper right before it was due. I would prefer that. It's weird.
I could write certain papers really well. Like if there was any sort of like room for a creative element in like a paper, I could put words down on a page, like I could speak. But if it was just if it was a research paper, if it was just this is what it is with limited room for interpretation, and I waited last minute to do that, like I was going to be suffering the entire time that I was.
I know how to make sentences way longer. I learned all the tricks, how to change. I didn't learn this until very late in the game when I was in college, but you can change like the size of the periods and because you had to have page length. There was page length limits and stuff like that. Little tiny things that you could change, just any way to work smarter, not harder. I would figure that out. I still kind of am like that today. But as far as some of the topics we wanted to talk about, I know we wanted to talk about. We'll start by talking about. Well, you said you work on not airplanes, helicopters, correct? Or is it airplanes now? You formerly worked on helicopters.
Work on helicopters in the military, Chinooks. I work on airplanes now.
Okay.
And yeah, it's weird. So kind of going backwards a little bit, going back into like my early 20s and the way it kind of lends itself to this. I wasn't a particularly hard worker, like I didn't have to work hard through school, as we just explained.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in me. Like I could only put effort into something that I was incredibly passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been difficult for me, especially considering how impulsive I am, to see the big picture of a lot of my pursuits. So when you're getting mixed up in all like the starting work of something, and you're waiting to arrive at that big picture, that end goal, I would stop way before I got there. I'd be like, I'm so tired of this. And another habit that's horrible, probably the worst habit that somebody can have, is if I wasn't immediately good at something, I just didn't do it. I had no desire to be not good at anything in front of anyone. And it used to be like a joke between like my friends and I, you know, like they'd ask me to like play certain sports and I'm not at all athletic. And I'd be like, hey, if I don't do it in front of you, you guys can't say I'm bad at it, you know? And like, I'd like joke around, but no, like that was my mindset for a very long time. Like I didn't want to experience failure. I didn't like the way it felt to fail at things. So I just avoided it entirely. So
terrible idea.
So my early 20s, I was working a lot of jobs. I was moving a lot. I was very impulsive. And they weren't jobs that I particularly loved. They were jobs that I saw, you know, some sort of instant success in that I could kind of slide by.
Yeah.
And eventually there was like a transition phase where when I moved to Bloomington on my own, like I had to learn.
So why Bloomington?
So right before I deployed, I was living in Champaign.
Okay.
I was managing a GNC in Champaign, and I had friends in the area. I had friends in Bloomington that were going to school at ISU. I was seeing a girl at the time. We stayed together throughout the entire deployment. When I got back from the deployment, I just didn't feel the same anymore. And it was kind of that relationship.
You're gone for how long?
A year.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It was kind of that relationship that exists at a point in time in your life where all my friends are like, when are you marrying this girl? And she was a great human being, you know, like just the kindest, nicest girl I've ever dated, for sure. And I had nothing against her and I had no ill intent towards her, but I just like
couldn't do it.
It just wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
We were getting to the point where we were like barreling down on like looking at homes, like creating a bigger 5-year plan. I'm just like, this seems like it's not going to work out. And the more I invest into this, the worse it's going to be. So
I know that feeling, man.
So I called that, which sucked. You know, it sucks. Like,
dude, it's the worst breaking up with somebody.
Yeah.
It's terrible, especially somebody that you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's the worst part. Like, if somebody, like, I had obviously had relationships in the past and breakups in the past, but a lot of times, like, I would let those go to the point that we both resented one another.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I can't wait to leave you. You know, it was all right. This wasn't the case. You know, like, this was like a person that I still very much loved in a certain way, just not a romantic way anymore, that still was very much romantically in love with me. And it sucks. It's not a great feeling.
Yep, that's very relatable.
So that happened, and I just knew that my entire 5-year plan at the start of that breakup had shifted. You know, I knew that I wasn't going to do any of the things that I had planned to do. I was gonna.
And how old were you at this time?
25. So I knew I wasn't moving to Des Moines. I knew I wasn't going to stay in school. I knew I wasn't going to buy a house. So I'm just like, Bloomington seems nice. I hated Champaign when I was there. I still had friends in Bloomington. I like Bloomington. I still like Bloomington, you know? And moved there. And I remember like my parents, they were like, I feel like you really aren't thinking this out. And I'm like, I'm going to be good. And they were so incredibly right. I hate to admit, they were just the most right. And so when I got there, you know, I'm 25. I just got back from a deployment. I applied to a job installing home security systems from Indeed.
Okay.
Which was the worst job, man. It was the grimiest, sleaziest sort of sales job. I was probably traveling 150, 200 miles a day.
I know someone who did that, and yeah, it burned them out real quick.
You just feel horrible. You don't feel good at all about what you're doing.
Sales jobs are, in general,
yeah, not great. Not great.
Tough.
I'd worked other types of sales before.
Yeah.
And you know, it didn't leave as bad of a taste in my mouth as this particular company, but it just felt horrible. So I knew I wasn't going to do that. I ended up getting licensed to sell life and health insurance in the state of Illinois.
I'm licensed in Iowa.
And I did that for probably 2 months without receiving a paycheck at all, because I had no book of business. I was cold calling all the time. It was nobody in this company wanted to like share leads. Like it was very much dog eat dog. And I'm like, hey, turns out, guys, I can't just not get paid for 2 months of my life.
Yeah.
So sorry, I can't do this. So at this point,
Did they pay for your licensing at least?
No, I paid for my licensing. So at this point, I'm completely rebuffed. You know, I made this giant move. You know, in the first 5 months, 6 months, I had already worked and lost 2 jobs. I'm now cash poor. I'm broke. I'm paying $1,100 a month for my apartment. You know, I'm just the lowest I've ever been. I feel like a complete failure. You know, I feel every part of me feels like a loser. You know, I feel like the least successful of my friends. I'm comparing myself to my peers.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't good. And then I got a job duct cleaning for an HVAC company, which is the lowest rung of doing HVAC work. And I just worked, you know, like at this point, like
labor.
At this point, all of my pride and ego had kind of sort of been dissolved by the last few months that I experienced. And I'm just like, all I'm going to do is just kind of put my head down.
Just mindlessly work.
I'm going to work. And I ended up going from duct cleaning to new construction to replacement in a super short window of time. My boss loved me, couldn't say enough good things about me. And then for the first time in my life, even though I had other jobs that I had been successful at, this just felt different. Like this felt like it was something that I wasn't naturally inclined to do, that I just put in some sort of effort. And then I started getting like, you know, these praises for it. And it felt good in a different way than I had ever experienced.
Because you weren't just automatically good at it.
And I realized that nothing felt as good up until that point is just working really hard at something that I wasn't naturally gifted at. I went from there to installing wire guidance systems. I would have stayed with that company forever if they weren't a small HVAC business and could have afforded to pay me more. You know, I still talk to that boss to this day, you know?
Yeah.
Did wire guidance. I was traveling 3 weeks out of every month. I was on the road. I was back 1 week a month. I got like 4 different promotions in like a 6 months window of time there. And I just became addicted to trying to be as successful as possible, like work as hard as possible, grind as hard as possible at these jobs. It was like a complete shift in like my perspective of how I wanted to approach things. And, you know, eventually I found my way into aviation, which is, you know, my dream gig, right? I've been working aviation. I've been working on helicopters for almost 12 years now. And I feel lucky to have been able to transition into a civilian position. And now I'm experiencing the fallback of finally working that job, that career, right? Like all these have just been jobs. Now I'm finally working that career that I had these expectations for. I had these like idolized views in my mind of what it was going to be like when I finally did something that I am gifted at, and then I could apply on top of that all these skills that I've learned about working hard, you know, doing the right thing, you know, like
showing up every day. Being on time,
I can combine these two things. These things can finally, you know, meet, and like the sky's the limit. And it's just not that, man. You know, you get here, you kind of see like the other side of the curtain. Everyone has these dreams that they want to accomplish in life, whatever it is. And I think sometimes we can make something way bigger than what it actually is in our minds. And then when it's finally
unrealistic expectations,
when it's finally in our grasp, we're like, oh, this isn't at all what I thought it was going to be, you know?
Yeah, you got to set the bar lower.
Yeah, like you're never supposed to like meet your heroes, right? It's like that sort of thing.
Kind of like that, yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, there's obviously so you're feeling a little stuck right now, or
I don't know. Like I don't know how I view it. Like the work environment that I'm at, it's negative, right? Everybody there is kind of like beaten down. They're kind of I don't know the word for it. You can just tell that it's worn all of them down.
they're just exhausted. They're just
And I've always
checked out, kind of.
Yeah, and I've always been relatively good at whatever I had going on in my life, whether I was feeling good or not, being able to add some sense of levity or lightness to like a room. You know, it's probably why I got into comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so you come in there and like, you know that people aren't going to be feeling it that day, and you try having like this mindset where it's like, hey, like, look, it's going to be good. Like,
yeah. You haven't been able to boost the morale.
It reminds me almost exactly of like what a deployment feels like. That's how it feels, right? Where like the main office, the people that are scheduling this work, they're kind of like the brass, the higher ups, and all of us little peasants on the floor, like we're the lower enlisted, and what ends up happening is you build this sense of camaraderie with people because you're all experiencing this adversity together. You're all experiencing all of this bullshit together. So you end up with these really close bonds with these people, and you end up sticking around these places because you care about the people. You care about the people that are immediately next to you. You care about your peers.
Yep. I know what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. The best part about this job, as negative as everyone I work with is the fact that we're all in it together, no matter how bad the workday gets or how overscheduled we are, how crazy the production schedule is for us. Like, nobody has it better necessarily than anyone else. So as long as you can have some sort of sense of humor about it, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, perspective is huge, man. If you don't have the right perspective on things, especially in that environment, it's going to be bad. And when you do have those off days or those days that you feel like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done this, that's where I felt like comedy has just been such a great outlet for me, man. Just being able to get up on stage and just riff about stuff and, talk about what things I'm pissed off about, or just goofy stuff that's in my head or stuff that I randomly wrote down, and just getting out of your head. It's been awesome, man. And also just like, it's insane to me how I did not expect, doing stand-up to meet as many people as we have. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, the Quad Cities scene is like, it's unique. Like,
even if you talk, I feel like it's never been like this. But I haven't been doing comedy for that long. But even like if you talk to some of like the OGs, like James, like he's dumb. He's dumbfounded by it.
Yeah, it's great. Like, you have like a lot of young talent. You see, like, the biggest thing to me, when I look back on my life, another trend I noticed myself is having a sense of community has always been massive to me. Having some sort of like tribe, right? I don't know exactly why that is, but I've tried fitting in to a billion different roles in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was musical in in high school. I was in like several bands, you know.
What instrument do you play?
I play guitar.
Oh, awesome.
Any sort of like trend that seemed like I could mesh with, I would just dive onto it like instantly.
Yeah.
Like no shame, you know. I'd just be like, this is going to be the one. And when I got back from like basic training and stuff, when I was 19 years old, I got really into bodybuilding. I didn't know anyone else that was doing it. I'm not athletic at all.
Did you know Shane used to do that?
Powerlifting. He had powerlifting.
Oh, powerlifting. Sorry.
I eventually found my way to powerlifting.
Okay.
I'll get there. But I got into bodybuilding. I'm not athletic at all, but I didn't have to be for this. Like, I just had to, like, do some work, you know, and, like, try looking good. And I've always had issues with, like, body image and stuff. And I've always been incredibly self-conscious about how people might perceive me or how people might view me, which, ironically enough, the more I got into bodybuilding, the more self-conscious I got. Because then it became like, now are people perceiving me as dumb because I like look a certain, you know what I mean? It just shifted, you know, like there was no escaping it. Like I was always going to be self-conscious and overly perceptive of how I was viewed by the world. It just shifted. It went from me being like, I'm like a chubby, you know, awkward, ugly kid and people don't like me because of that. And then it switched to, oh, I'm a big, dumb meathead, and now people don't like me because of that. And I hated both of those equally, you know? So I tried finding that community, and I did. Like, I latched on to some I had coaches. I would travel to different gyms. And I'm just like, this is it, you know? Like, brotherhood, you know? And that wasn't for me, you know? I was never going to genetically be a naturally gifted bodybuilder, you know? And then later on, I discovered powerlifting and hired a coach that I'm friends with and enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pursuit of that. You know, it seemed like a less vain pursuit of doing something. I liked doing the work. It was like the things that I liked about bodybuilding with not as much of the things I didn't like. I'm like, now this is going to be my community. Like, yeah, this is going to be it. And COVID pretty much shut that one down. I don't know if the gym closures didn't happen in Illinois, if I would still be doing it. Sometimes I think on that. But eventually what happened during COVID, all gyms were shut down. Mm-hmm. I was traveling for work. And I just had this epiphany where I'm like, dude, you've never in your life been an athlete. Like, you aren't a genetic specimen of a human being. You know, you've done some pretty impressive things in powerlifting and bodybuilding, probably more than what you should have been able to accomplish, and you weren't even playing to your strengths at all, you know? Mm-hmm. What if you, like, just used your brain? Like, what if something you were naturally gifted at, which is, like, being goofy and charismatic and funny, like, what if you put that foot forward? What if you tried telling jokes on stage, you know? And you tried to find a community there. And eventually I got on stage and I started doing it, and definitely didn't find a community for a while, you know.
Where was your first open mic?
Teehees in Des Moines.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go back there this Thursday. I have to head up to the Des Moines area this weekend, and I haven't been there for like a year, so I might go stun on them.
Dude, I need to go to Des Moines. I wish I could go soon, but yeah, work's been crazy. Have you done the Dubuque mic yet? Any of them?
The what?
The Dubuque one?
The comedy bar?
Yeah, the comedy bar.
I've been to the Dubuque.
Yeah, comedy bar's dope. The first time I didn't really get the heads up that it was so damn bright up there.
It's super bright.
Oh man, it totally threw me off. It threw off my whole set. That probably wasn't it, but I blame the lighting.
Yeah, no, you should. You should fairly blame the lighting.
You got to blame something.
It was for sure that.
It wasn't me. It wasn't my fault.
But it took forever to find like a community in comedy. Mm-hmm. You know, like because what I thought in my mind is like, you know, these people probably also suffer from a plethora of mental health issues, you know, and they're probably also introverted in their own ways and socially awkward, and
which isn't wrong.
Yeah, which isn't wrong, even a little bit, not even kind of wrong.
Yeah.
But we're also all kind of narcissists, and there is this competitive element that exists within comedy, this weird sort of, kind of rivalry that, and I just wasn't accepted. And then when I started doing a lot of stand-up in the Champaign-Urbana area, I found camaraderie with, like, the people that were coming up. I have good friends in, like, Champaign-Urbana comedy. But you could tell, like, the veterans of that area, there's still weirdness there, like they didn't want to, like, they didn't want to give credit to, like, these younger comics or whatever. And it still just felt tense. Like, it didn't feel like how I wanted it to. I wanted it to be like this positive thing. And I came up here and started doing comedy, and couldn't be further from, like, the opposite of those experiences. And in fact, the only thing that was making it weird while I was here initially was just how, like, the aversion I had to, like, trusting other people in any way, shape, or form, because I was greeted with so much negativity, rather, that, you're almost kind of like, what's happening here? Even when I would have a good interaction with somebody, I'd be like, I don't know if I trust you, Or
they're just being nice to me.
Yeah. And, but eventually, like, you start, like, letting your guard down. I think, even in just, like, the last month, the community's grown, like, so much better. It's fun. They're fun hangs at these mics. Like, it's, like, a positive experience.
Yeah, like
all around.
the Village Theater mic, there really wasn't much of a crowd. It was just all comics. We were just all just messing around the whole time. It was great. I had never done that open mic, and I was like, oh, so this is what this is like. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. It was just a perfect opportunity to practice stuff and just talk shit. Talk shit to Austin, which is one of my favorite things to do. I'm learning.
Yeah, no.
It's a great time.
It's real fun.
It's it's fantastic. When I have him on the podcast, I'm just going to talk shit to him the whole time. That's just going to be the whole podcast. It's like, why? This isn't the format at all. But anyway, you kind of touched on it a little bit already with the pattern recognition and the pattern that you had, and then where you're at now with your life. And I can totally relate to that, because I would see, like, myself, like, just going through this, I don't know, just kind of going through the motions for a long time and just kind of winging it, and didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I would have, like, these good moments where I was feeling really good about myself and felt like I was on the right path. And then all of a sudden, I just, like, life just hit me in the face. And then I was just like, oh, this is terrible. And all of my friends, or former friends or acquaintances, they're all doing better than me. They're all in these great relationships, have these great jobs, and I'm just struggling, and I'm about to move back in with my parents again or something like that. Like, because I had to do that very many times. So I was really bad at managing money. Still not great at managing money.
Yeah, dude, same. Absolutely 100% the same.
Just terrible. And I don't know if you saw I had a post about it yesterday. I think I only posted that one on TikTok. Yeah, it was on TikTok. It was on my TikTok because somebody was talking about how so many people aren't getting ahead, or the reason you're not rich is because you're lazy. It's like, it's not that simple. Some people, yeah, they're lazy and they don't work hard. Definitely true. However, so many people don't know how to manage money, and we weren't really taught that in school. It just wasn't really a thing. I think in high school, we had a personal finance class, like, that you could take. It wasn't really required or anything, but it didn't really go over a lot, But I was not ready to be able to, file my taxes, for example, which most of it you can do online very easily anymore. But still, like, stuff like that, balancing, like, a checkbook, all kinds of things. I just didn't know what to I wouldn't know how to do that if I didn't have my parents. Like I have my dad is very good with finances, so I can go to him and ask him anything. Not everybody has that. Why were we taught all this stuff at school that is not relevant at all when you become an adult, unless you're like specifically in a field that requires that type of knowledge.
And my parents have been great too. I'm incredibly lucky to have them. But I mean, another thing that nobody discusses with, depression or depressive disorder or any sort of anxiety disorders.
Yeah, it's hard to get motivated.
Is what makes you feel good when you're alone, right? What's instant gratification when you're going through a depressive episode and you're alone? You don't have anything to distract you. What's the easiest thing to do? Spend money, order food, buy something off Amazon. It's so easy to do it without even thinking, because you get that initial sort of like bit of dopamine,
Yep.
like that initial rush of endorphins. You're like, I just paid $37 for $10 worth of food on DoorDash, and like that's gonna come here and I'm gonna eat that and I'm gonna feel good, man. Like, and you don't, and
No.
you just lost $37. Like, it's so easy when you're in these like mental health spirals to just be like, whatever,
That's when it's the
money's
worst.
money. And then you wonder why you're constantly poor, and there's definitely this mental health component about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And nobody, like, I wouldn't say nobody. It's not
something you hear about.
It's not as often discussed with things like depression and anxiety. And it's not often discussed all the other impulsive behaviors. It's not often discussed things like, promiscuity or anything, like any of these habits we have to self-medicate ourselves when we're feeling numb. But like what nobody talks about, and what I kind of heard like with what you were saying, when you got in this thinking trap of you're like, my peers are doing better than me, because all of those things are super relevant to me. I have those thoughts all the time. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, social media.
Nobody talks about how selfish depression makes you. You know what I mean? Like, there have been so many tragedies that have happened over the last several years during this pandemic. And a lot of these tragedies have occurred where I'm in the middle of a massive depressive spiral. And I'm just trying to survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see all my friends and all my peers being like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. How could this happen? And all I can think is, I literally don't have enough emotional energy to fucking care about that.
Yep.
And it sucks, because you should. It should make you feel something. You should be like, that does suck. But when you're just trying to make it through your own day, it turns you into this sort of,
self-absorbed.
Exactly.
Is the word for it. Yeah. And you don't want to be like that either.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. And some people, I'm glad you brought that up, they don't realize that either. They don't realize the effect that when they're in that mood, what that does to other people. Or if you're one of those people, like I know some people who get in depressive episodes, they might even listen to this podcast. I hope they don't take offense to this, but they will ignore phone calls, ignore texts, and it's, and I already know when that happens, it's a red flag, and I'm like, oh, this person's going through something. And, it's just like, just send a quick text back and just be like, hey, I'm not feeling it, but I'm alive.
Yeah.
Just something.
Yeah.
So I know what's going on. And I think I did tell her that, but, yeah. And I've caught myself doing that too.
It's crazy how much like something,
ignoring just anything I can. I will ignore it.
It's crazy how much something so small as like just that little text you were talking about, like how big of an undertaking that feels like, when it feels like
the hardest thing ever for her. And I talked to her about it.
And yeah, I mean, like it's definitely impacted relationships that I've had in my life, like it's.
And I did it to my friend. I did it to my friend yesterday.
Yeah.
I had to text him back today and be like, dude, I was not intentionally trying to ignore you.
Yeah. Yeah, it has, man. It's derailed friendships, like, because like you said, yeah, you become so self-absorbed that when you find somebody that you trust, somebody that you resonate with, that might not be suffering from any sort of mental illness, what happens is you're like, this is a person that I can like unpack these issues onto. But what you don't realize when you're in these episodes, like when it's been like this for weeks or months, these people have just been hearing nothing but negativity for weeks and months, and they've just been trying to tolerate it and be patient with you because they care about you and they love you and they want you to do better. But, put yourself in their shoes.
Burn them out, man.
Yeah, how tolerant of that would you be, I mean, I like it. This is something that I try being as introspective as possible about. It's something that I try doing a lot of self-examination with. And it's something that I understand is very much a problem in a lot of people. And even I have friends that are no more or less depressed than I can be, that when they're going through like their depressive episodes, I'm just like, come on, like, and you know
exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. You're still just like, oh, like this again, like.
Yeah. And I was just talking about it too. It's frustrating because it's something that you know about, but you're still just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, please stop,
Yeah. And then a week later you do the same thing.
And then like you'll say things that like people say to you like, nothing stays bad forever, and you're just like, that's such it feels like such bullshit saying that.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah, it is true. It is very much true, but like when you're in their shoes hearing the same thing, you're just like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, when you're in it, oh my God, it feels like eternity. Like you're in it forever. I go through so many waves of depression because, also with when it comes to like the changing of seasons, I get the seasonal depression thing that hits me every year. Usually it's the worst in fall. Like fall, I hate fall. Everybody's like, fall, the leaves are changing. I'm like, my brain is changing, and it's awful. It's just brutal, man. Every year, but I've also learned how important, little things like taking vitamins, like vitamin D, how important that is. And I take vitamin D now, and that helps me. That's helped me so much get through, those winter months where it's dark almost all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
I could never live in Alaska, dude. No wonder why the suicide rate's so damn high.
Winter's the worst for me. I kind of like fall. Winter sucks for me. I definitely go through seasonal depression during winter. Obviously, like
mine kind of starts in the fall, and it's like it goes into winter a little bit, and then it kind of like plateaus.
Yeah, the more like the more stressed I am, the more I stress eat, the worse I feel because I'm eating horribly. The more exhausted I am because I'm stressed, the less I exercise and the worse I end up feeling. That ends up compounding on top of itself. Like if I can stay active and routine based, like and just keep that trend and keep that momentum building, I for sure feel the best. And you know what? Like since I've moved to Davenport, I even just posted about it. Like I'm more transparent now about, the trials and tribulations of my day-to-day life than I've ever been before. But I try being relatively optimistic and, like sharing the wins, but I let people know that like the lows exist too. It's only fair.
Because that's another reason why I like doing what I do on social media is because I'll post not just the good things that happen in my life. I'll post I won't get super negative, like, like, oh, poor me type of thing. But just be like, you know what? Things have not been going well.
Yeah.
This. But also, I know things are going to get better. Because all I have to do is stick it out because I've seen this. I've been here before.
Yeah. And it does feel reassuring. I think like, Charles Bukowski has a quote that's something like, you know, like I thought I was going to die when this happened to me. And then I laughed because I thought of how many other times that I felt that way, you know, to paraphrase him roughly.
Yeah.
It does feel that way when you come out of it. But what I was saying, even just moving to Davenport, I made a post about it. Like the number of like, not just acquaintances, but quality friends that I've made since I've lived here that have interesting lives that are vastly different from one another, that have vastly different hobbies that they want to include me in. Like the amount of weekends that I would like just spend a Sunday like sitting on my couch, like in my fucking boxers, like eating junk food, not wanting to like leave the couch, getting more and more depressed as the day went on, that like somebody's hit me up and been like, hey, let's go do this. And like those days when you wake up and you feel this overwhelming sense of dread and you're like, oh, I know today's going to be terrible. And somebody hits you up and asks to make a plan with you. And maybe it's a plan that 9 times out of 10 you would have been like, no, like I don't feel like doing it. Like I've just been saying yes to those plans now. And my life has been exponentially better. Those end up being my favorite days, you know, like days where any problem that you have just seems like a little bit smaller than it should be. My buddy Greg hit me up a few Sundays ago and the weather was still nice. And I live in prime area down. Everything's walking distance from me, you know? And he's like, you want Sunday fun day? So we went to the village. We got brunch. At Brew, had some brunch cocktails, went over to Toasted, met up with a couple bartenders there, which I end up still close friends with today.
How long has it been open? That hasn't been open that long.
I don't think too terribly long. They were about to get off their shift. We went to that cigar lounge downtown, sat outside on the patio.
I haven't been there. I've only been to the one that I posted.
I saw you post about it.
Yeah. We'll have to go there.
Smoked cigars out on the patio. Went over to Armored Gardens. I'm not a huge drinker, you know, but, you know, had like a couple beers. Went to like Bettendorf. Like the weather was just beautiful. Like we were with new friends. I was like social. Like everything just felt good. Everything just felt genuinely good. And any sort of weird problem that I was perceiving in my life just faded away. And I'm just like, oh, this is the best part of life. Like I don't work to live and pay my bills, you know, like I don't suffer on the days which I don't want to be at work just so that I can make a utility payment. I suffer so that I can have these experiences with people, these human experiences, these interactions where you get to learn about someone and enjoy somebody's company and realize that we're all so vastly different and we're all kind of weird and we all have our own shit. And it's cool, man. Like you can just be with people and enjoy their company and enjoy some nice weather. And it's like, this is what I'm doing all of this for. This makes it way better.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Reaping the benefits of just the simple things too. That's another thing as you get older, man. Yeah. It's so funny how you have that joke about how you feel like you're 30 and you're only 28 because you're talking like you're 30 as well. Like, cause you just appreciate those little things more as you get older. And it's just, I didn't used to appreciate the little things. I was never living in the moment.
Yeah.
Not until the last few years, at least. I was just always like either kicking myself for past decisions or looking for way too far ahead and being like, this is where I need to be. And not just focusing on like, why aren't you just living in the moment and you're at dinner with a friend or why are you on your phone right now? Stuff like that. Like that's another thing I'm trying to do is not be on my phone as much when I'm around people. Just because it's such a bad habit, dude. Terrible.
It's the worst habit. Yeah. I'm horrible at it.
Yeah. Everybody is.
It's an anxious tick for me. Like
it is. Like I grab my phone and just start. Sometimes I'm not even looking at anything.
I'm never looking at anything. I'm literally just touching it just to like touch it, you know?
Yeah.
It takes you out of a moment with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But it's going to be even worse. Like, conversations are going to get even more difficult, I think, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and they teach, and I was asking them, I was like, how do you deal with, because, you know, when I was in high school, we had phones, we had cell phones, but none of them were smartphones yet. I think when my freshman or sophomore year of college is when, like, the first iPhone came out. I could be a little off on that, but I didn't have a smartphone in high school, and most of my friends didn't either. So phones were kind of a problem, but not really, because they weren't computers.
Yeah.
So now all these kids have smartphones. And I was like, how do you deal with that? And he's like, well, I mean, this person's really, really lax about it. But the one thing they did say is that their conversations and what they do outside of school is a lot different than us, as far as, like, we would go to each other's house and hang out and just do whatever, shoot the shit, play video games, whatever, start drinking, like, whatever. We did that in high school. Now, they'll go over to each other's houses and hang out every once in a while, but not nearly as often, because they have their phones. They'll just text each other or Snapchat or FaceTime or whatever. Probably not even FaceTime. It's just all messaging, and the conversations are very short. And I'm concerned. I'm like that concerned old man now about that.
I remember reading, like, an article. You remember when those, like, Jake Paul sexual assault allegations came out?
I think so. I saw his new drink at Hy-Vee today, and I was like, absolutely not. And I kept walking because I can't stand those brothers.
So so another prominent influencer, there's nothing in the world that I care less about than someone being a social media influencer. But another prominent influencer had apparently dated Jake Paul, and allegedly he had, like, sexually assaulted her.
Yeah.
When she came out with this information, she was talking about, like, the day leading up to it. And she said something I thought was, like, really interesting, where she's like, I went over to his place, and he was just chilling on his couch, playing on his phone. And she's like, I didn't think anything of it. I guess I just figured that he must be really socially awkward because of how much time he spends on his phone. Like, she, like, said something along the lines of that. And I'm like, this is like a celebrity. This is a persona, right? And this person, like, outside of being a persona, is probably somewhere on the Asperger spectrum, because it's just nothing but social media indulgence all the time.
Yeah.
These are people that, like, we, like, look up to, and they're like, I mean, maybe nobody's looking up to Jake Paul, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, kids do.
People that were like,
I'm sure plenty of kids
people were
do.
like, oh, they're so cool, like, they're so charming, they're all this, and, like, behind all of that persona, behind all the cameras, they're just like little zombies, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow, what a revelation. I never would have thought about it like that. And, like, that was how she phrased it, and I'm just like, that's crazy to me, you know? Like, and that's probably how all of these influencers are. Just no personality at all when the camera's not filming. None. No social skills.
I have to push myself to post, like, the videos that I posted. I have to push myself, like I can't come up with enough ideas, you know, and I don't like being on camera.
Yeah.
But I do it because it helps me get over that fear, and also I know I have knowledge, and I know I have things I can tell people about, an experience that might help somebody. So that's why I do it. And yeah, if I do get followers from it, yes. Do I get a rush, or do I get a rush out of the views? I would lie to you if I said I didn't.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like, because that's a huge. Everybody loves that.
A shift that I've noticed in me, which is like just kind of like a comical little thing that like I've been noticing is, I mean, you look at like 19, 20, 21, early 20s me, and I was taking selfies all the time, I had like a selfie face, dude, like
Oh, yeah.
I had like friends that would like roast me because I didn't know what to do with my face and selfies. I'd like this all the time, I wouldn't think anything of it. Now, anytime that like I'm sending like a Snapchat of like my face, which I almost never do, I just feel so uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm a grown man taking a selfie right now. Like this is
weird.
So strange.
Yeah.
Like somewhere along the line there was a shift, and now it's just the most uncomfortable, like performative thing that I can do. Like, how am I supposed to look natural while I'm staring at like my own face or like on a camera? What am I doing?
Yeah. This is not a natural thing. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I recently started using Snapchat again. Just because of a couple friends that use it pretty often. Otherwise, I didn't use it for a long time because I was like, I don't want to just send people selfies all day. Like, usually the only time I used it for a long time, actually, I only used it when I saw a mullet and I would send it to one of my friends.
So that's a good use of it, man.
Which is a great use of Snapchat.
Send a lot of snaps of my dog.
Yeah, or like animals doing dumb shit or fun, cute stuff, whatever.
My dog poops in really unique places, so I, try doing that.
Classic. This is the second time he's called during a podcast. That's hilarious. Oh man. What else? I'm trying to think. Did Caleb leave? Oh, he's still there. It's so dark in there. This place like locked itself up sometimes. He probably would have warned me if he was leaving anyway. I was trying to think of what else we could. I don't want to keep him too late, and we're kind of at like that hour time. But
do you have any thoughts or any sort of introspections you've had this week that you want to share? You want to bounce off me?
This week has been so far. Being in customer service is taxing, and I brought that up to somebody. I was on I'm on a few different dating apps, which I've talked a lot about. We've talked a lot about dating apps. We've talked about dating apps before, and you've heard about it in my sets. But this particular dating app, I matched with this girl, and she happened to be in the Army. And I was complaining to her about my job, and I was like, "Oh, you're in the Army," and I was like, "There's like that, like, oh, I can't bitch to somebody that's in the Army type of thing." And I was like, "But yeah, I can, because she probably couldn't do my job, because it's just a different type of struggle, depending on if she does I don't even know exactly what she does in the Army either.
Yeah, I mean, she might do she probably works supply or something. It has the least stressful job. I did have that feeling, the same exact feeling that you were describing. A couple years back, I dated this ER nurse in neuro.
Ooh.
So neuro ICU. And I would have like
she's saving lives. And you're just like,
yeah, I have a tumultuous history with nurses. And I would like complain about my job sometimes, my work stress, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, somebody blew his brains out with a shotgun today, and I had to deal with that." And I'd be like, "Oh,
never mind.
Never mind."
Just one-upping you.
I'm just like, you're right. I should probably keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, but I think the message that I sent her was customer service is not for the weak, because it's not. Especially if you're dealing with, like, I deal with employee benefits, and people's health insurance. And if somebody's health insurance isn't working properly or the way they think it's supposed to, or it's not showing active, and the pharmacy's like, you can't have your prescription because your insurance is not paying for it, those people are going to get upset, and you're the person they're going to be talking to, and it gets intense, man. I've had to have some tough conversations with people. I have tough conversations with people every single day, and it takes a toll on you. And I have to have those creative outlets. I have to have those outlets and people to talk to. Otherwise, I would lose my mind.
I'll never discredit the sort of mental drain that customer service professions have. I have some experience in it.
If you've worked retail, you understand it.
But
in a sense.
I have some experience with it. And I remember how drained I would feel coming home from work. And I've worked incredibly physical jobs. I've worked. I've done carpentry. I've done HVAC. I spent a summer working on irrigation for State
where your
Farm.
body might be tired.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, those jobs were less taxing in a lot of ways than doing customer service style work. I have a good friend of mine. She worked at the call center for a major insurance company for years. She was high up in that place, and she was miserable.
Oh yeah.
And she finally
was probably making bank too.
She finally left it to be an emergency dispatcher, and I'm like, I feel like you might have went the
deeper
opposite direction of where you should have went.
Oh man, have you met Jake McDowell?
The name sounds familiar. I believe so.
Yeah, he's a comedian as well. He's a friend of mine. I've known Jake for a long time, but he has a good a new joke that he wrote that you'll probably hear soon that he'll tell about dispatchers. I'm not gonna ruin it. About 911 dispatchers, just basically how they can, like, nothing phases them because they've heard so much.
Yeah.
Oh man, I couldn't do that. I've had people tell me things on the phone, like very personal things, and that they didn't even necessarily have to tell me. But yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, dude.
No way.
Some of like the lowest feelings that I experienced in my life were when I was cold calling for that insurance job.
Dude,
selling life insurance, and then I would call because we had a lead on somebody. And, the missus of the home would answer the phone. I'd be like, hey, is Gene there? And these are people I'm selling life insurance to. They're in, like, their late 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, he died. I'm like, sorry that I'm some asshole that's calling you right now. And so much of that, probably like one or two every day. I'm just like, ugh. It just makes you feel so gross, man.
Yeah. There's so many companies that, obviously with life insurance, obviously it's important, for older people, for anyone to have it, really, to be honest with you. It's very important because funeral costs are outrageous themselves. Yeah. Even just cremating somebody's expensive. So just having the money to cover that and those expenses, so you don't have to have someone, start a GoFundMe for you. It's important, and when you get it young, it's so cheap, man.
Yeah, you've heard it here, folks. If you feel like you're gonna die and it's coming on, go do it in a place where they'll never find your body. Save your family some expenses.
They'll never find your body. Yes. Yeah. Jeez. Oh man, it's it can destroy, like. It's yet another, losing someone's already enough.
Yeah.
But I've ran across that situation. I've come across so many. How many GoFundMes do you see for funeral expenses? You're just like, and since you didn't do insurance for that long, do you think, how did they not have life insurance?
Yeah.
Do you think that, is it the first thing you think of?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think of, and I'm like, damn, that's.
I mean, but also in their defense, like, I was on my parents' health insurance until I was 25, right?
Yeah, I stayed through 26, man.
And then I just didn't have health insurance. You know, I would work jobs and they would offer me health insurance, you know, after the 3-month period. And I'd be like, so I'm going to choose between the potential of me getting catastrophically ill or having an injury, or being able to eat this month. So I think I'm just going to roll the dice on hoping that my expert bill of health holds up. Like I've just with this company got my health insurance. Like I figured like, hey, I'm 28, you know,
your luck might be running out.
Yeah, time to knock, you know, time to splurge for me a little bit. Let's get some health insurance that I might never use. And you know what? Like my next paycheck's going to be the first paycheck that deduction's taken out of. And I'm going to see that paycheck and instantly be like, I regret this.
Pre-tax though. It comes out pre-tax though. Lower your taxable income. So you got that going for you. No, but I've had so many people call in about they were in a situation where they didn't want to pay for the insurance and they didn't have health insurance, which is up to them. And I get that. I understand it. But don't call me and be like, hey, I just got hurt and now I want to sign up. Like, dude, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way, man. That's why you enroll in the first place, and that's why you pay in advance, and that's why insurance companies are able to have money to pay for those expenses. And yeah, it's or like I've had people call in and they were like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant now, so I want to get insurance. I'm like, sorry, they're like, that's a lot, because it brings up the term life event comes up a lot. I'm like, that is a life event for you, but for insurance purposes, no life event.
How do those calls go for you? Normally pretty well?
Not well. Not well. Some of them understand it or understanding. They're like, they're calling like as a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean,
more power to you.
It's
always ask. I mean, it never hurts to ask the question.
And it's crazy to me that like we're so uneducated on this stuff, so widely that we're still making these phone calls.
Another thing we don't learn about.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't really have a concept of it, and I'm licensed to sell the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
I learn more about it all the time.
Yeah. It's crazy. Same thing with taxes, you know?
Oh, dude, I still got to do my taxes. I don't know why I'm waiting, because I know I'm going to get a refund. It's not like I'm going to owe.
I'm happy that I didn't owe this year. But I got nothing.
Nothing. Broke even.
Pennies.
The goal should be to break even, because you'd rather have money to be able to invest if you're smart enough. I don't know. This is my dad talking through my face right now.
My dad always says that too.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, I want to buy a rug for my apartment because rugs are ungodly expensive. So let's see some tax money.
They're so expensive, dude. Rugs are real expensive. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Oh, man. Trying to think anything else. I should probably wrap it up, though. It's been a long day for me, man. I worked from 7 to, well, I had a little bit of time off there. I went and got my hair cut, and but I pretty much worked from like 7 to 7, I would say. Long day. And that last, I can't talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it, but that last call, man, ooh. Some people, man, just get, I don't know where to go with this, but people get so angry.
Yeah, you have to find a way to like decompress in a healthy way, which is something that I'm still learning how to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna work out tonight though, because tomorrow I work a later shift, so I work the opening shift. Even though I work from home, I still kind of have a shift in a sense, where I have to be logged in, or where people know I'm gonna be logged in. And today was my opening shift. And tomorrow I don't have to start really logging in until like 10:30. So I like going to the gym at night because there's no one there. It's great. If you're still listening, please give us a follow on social media. All of the links are on the website, www.moderndayoverthinker.com. And also, you can find us on all the major streaming platforms that have podcasts. If you find one where we're not on there, please let me know. Email mdoverthinker@gmail.com. You can also use that email to provide feedback, have any questions, ideas, collaborations, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I went to the gym right after work today because I knew I had this obligation
And
to
you probably
meet
hated it. Oh,
the worst. Just it
what time was that at?
4:45,
Awful.
something like that. The busiest time it could possibly be.
What gym?
The Y here downtown.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
right next to I don't even get me started. It's not worth me complaining about, but yeah, it does. It really puts me in like a negative headspace. Because I'm so avoidant of people, or I try being of like large groups of people, large groups of strangers. I still have enough social anxiety that it like, you know,
And the gym's like a sanctuary, man. That's like,
you know, like it, you know, everyone's there to, well, you know, most people are there to improve the way they look more so than how healthy they are, right? So you understand that these are people that their eyes are trained in ways that are at least semi-vain, you know, and a lot of them are suffering with like body dysmorphia and stuff. And you know, you're comparing yourselves to them, and you know, they're comparing themselves to you. And so then you know that any sort of flaw that you have perceived in yourself physically, it has to be on display because they have to be perceiving it because you're perceiving theirs. And it's just like, I hate it, man.
I don't feel that way at all, though.
That's 100% how I feel. That's how the fitness community's ruined me, though.
Yeah.
Stop. Everything that I just said, forget I said it. Don't start thinking that way.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, with your background, that would make sense. But yeah, with me, I just started doing the gym thing at the end of July, and it's like one of the best decisions I ever made. But being consistent is the thing, and holding myself accountable going, because I could never do that for so long. I would be one of those January guys.
Yeah, my relationship with the gym is like complicated now because I'm a goal oriented person. Like I like being able to set goals and attain goals. And now for the first time since I've been really into lifting or like weight training, I just don't have any. I'm not trying to look a certain way for like a bodybuilding show. I'm not trying to lift certain weights to compete in like a powerlifting meet. I'm just kind of doing the things that I want to do in there, and it's hard for me to motivate myself to do it when there isn't like a number or a date or something to like that I'm trying to hit.
Yeah, I get it.
I just don't love it anymore. And the fitness community and fitness influencers, are just so cringy to me that, you know, like I just don't like go in the gym and like see you in your Fitbay and your Gymshark apparel. Like you just look like such douches to me. Like I just,
Oh yeah.
So it's weird because like I know that like I'm very much just like an average, relatively healthy looking dude now, like I don't look like somebody that spends obsessive amounts of time in the gym like I once used to. So now I see people that are still at that point, and like I'm asking them for like spots or whatever, and they're probably just like looking at me like I'm a peasant or whatever. And it's like,
you don't even know me, bro.
You used to be nothing to me. And then you become that guy, which is like a meme in the gym world. I used to do this guy. Ugh, man. So,
or you want to correct everybody's form and.
Yeah, I just try mind my own business and being like, is polite.
I always think
polite
someone's gonna come up to me and correct me when I'm lifting. I don't just because I that was one of the main reasons that kept me from the gym was like I always felt like I never knew what I was doing, so I'd always go with a friend that would know what they were doing.
It's crazy to me, like the people that like are confident enough in who they are as a person that they can go to a gym and like disrupt somebody's workout to like spit game at them. like that's what that person wants in that moment, and you see it happen. I've never once attempted to be that guy, never in my wildest dreams. And you see it happen, it's just like, how do you have this level of confidence, that you're just like, this person's in here a time of day for themselves,
or the people who hoard machines, and don't get me started on those
and
people.
You thought that the only way they could improve this time for themselves is for you to come over and hit on them. Like, what are you doing, man? And sometimes it works. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I've seen plenty of good. That's extra motivation for me. And I never talk to any women at the gym, but I see a lot of beautiful women at the gym, and it's just like extra motivation. It's like, hey, I'm not gonna see these beautiful women at my house, on my couch, unless but they're not just gonna randomly appear there. So that's an extra motivation. But no, I don't. Yeah, because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to interrupt somebody's workout because I know I'm there, and I don't want anybody interrupting me. The only person I ever really talked to at the gym is somebody like that I know, and I've seen them, and it's always very short because we're both like usually on the same page.
Yeah, I had like a hometown gym that I'd been going to since I was young, and if I go in there, it's like. It's almost less of a workout and more of like a social hour because it's just like everyone there knows me, and it takes you out of it. But I also don't love this gym where I know nobody. It's just the gym used to be the easiest part of the whole fitness equation for me. Like, it was never like, I have to go to the gym. It was always like, I have to do cardio, or I have to diet.
Certain parts of it,
but like lifting was like, this is like fun time for me. This is always going to take up this portion of my day, and spending just the short amount of time that I did away from the gym during COVID completely shifted my mindset of it. And again, maybe like social media and influencers and the fitness community as a whole, and the weirdness of the fitness community kind of helped deter me a little bit. That, and I was doing incredibly unhealthy things to look a certain way. But yeah, it's never came back. It's been probably, a year and a half, 2 years now, since gym started opening back up and I started trying to get fully back into it. It's just never came back the way it was, so probably won't.
Yeah. And you'll probably do it more for not just the physical, but the mental part of it as well.
I do it now because as a bald man, I can't afford to get fat. Otherwise, you just look silly, That's why I do it.
I always forget you're bald because you always wear a hat.
I know. I mean, I have a beautiful bald head, man, but like you can't be a fat bald guy. You just can't. You have to be one or the other,
It's a rule somewhere.
It's fully a rule. I mean, look at Vin Diesel. He let himself slip up, and next thing you know, he's meme-worthy on the internet. People are like, look at this dad bod. Can't do it.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Can't do it, man. You have to pick one or the other. So
Good rule. Good rule to end on. We should probably end on that. But I appreciate you being on, man.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's a great time. I love this place, man. It's a cool little place. But yeah, until next time, thank you for tuning in to Modern Day Overthinker, and take care of yourself.